Every morning before sunrise, a construction worker named Marcus arrived at the same school carrying cement-covered boots and an old lunch bag. Most parents ignored him. Some people didn't even look at him. But every Friday, Marcus quietly stopped at the school office and left an envelope filled with cash. No name, no message, just enough money to pay one little girl's school tuition. For 5 straight years, nobody knew the truth, not even the girl herself, until one rainy afternoon, 10 years later, when a successful young woman stepped onto an old construction site holding a faded photograph, desperately searching for the man who had changed her life forever. 10 years earlier, Sophie was only 8 years old. She lived with her widowed mother in a tiny apartment near the edge of the city. Her mother worked double shifts at a diner, but it was never enough. Bills piled up. The electricity was often cut off. And one winter morning, Sophie overheard her mother crying quietly in the kitchen. "We can't afford school anymore," her mother whispered on the phone. That afternoon, Sophie sat silently in class staring down at an unpaid tuition notice. While other kids laughed and played, she secretly wondered if this would be her last day at school. Outside the classroom window, construction workers were repairing a nearby building. One of them noticed Sophie sitting alone. It was Marcus, a quiet middle-aged laborer with rough hands and tired eyes. For a brief moment, their eyes met. Sophie quickly looked away, but Marcus had already seen the tears in her eyes. The next Friday, the school principal received a plain white envelope. Inside was enough cash to cover Sophie's tuition for the month. No name, no explanation. At first, the principal assumed it was a mistake. But the following Friday, another envelope appeared. And then another. Week after week. Month after month. Nobody knew who kept leaving the money. Meanwhile, Sophie's life slowly began to change. She stayed in school. Her grades improved. She started smiling again. Every morning, she noticed the same construction worker outside the school gate, drinking cheap coffee before work. Sometimes Marcus would wave awkwardly. Sometimes Sophie waved back. But they never truly spoke. Marcus lived alone in a tiny trailer near the construction site. At night, after exhausting shifts, he repaired old furniture for extra money. His co-workers often laughed at how little he spent on himself. Old clothes, broken phone, cheap meals. Nobody realized where his money was going. One evening, another worker asked him quietly, "Why are you working so hard?" Marcus looked toward the school building glowing in the distance. Then he smiled softly, "Because someone once gave me a chance too." 10 years passed. Sophie eventually graduated at the top of her university class. Later, she became a successful architect. But one question had never left her heart. Who paid for her education? After years of searching, Sophie finally discovered old payment records connected to a nearby construction company. That rainy afternoon, she drove across the city, following the last known job site connected to Marcus. But when she arrived, she froze. An old worker quietly told her the truth. Marcus had retired months earlier after suffering serious health problems. Now he lived alone in a small, run-down trailer outside the city. Sophie immediately drove there through heavy rain. Her hands trembled as she knocked on the old metal door. Slow footsteps approached from inside. Then the door slowly opened. Marcus stood there in silence. Older now, weaker, but with the same kind eyes she remembered as a child. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Then Sophie suddenly burst into tears. "You were the one," she whispered. Marcus looked stunned. "You stayed in school?" he asked, softly. Sophie nodded while crying harder. "I became an architect because of you." Marcus tried to smile, but tears filled his eyes. For years, he believed nobody would ever know what he had done. And honestly, he never expected anyone to remember him. But standing there in the rain, Sophie reached into her bag and pulled out a set of blueprints. Marcus looked down in confusion. Then Sophie smiled through tears. "It's a house," she said softly. "For you." Marcus covered his mouth as emotion overwhelmed him. The little girl he once helped survive had come back to change his life too. And for the first time in many years, Marcus no longer felt invisible.